J. Roos Theory just went live not too long ago. Talked about everything. Let's talk about Moses Atama. Hope I'm saying his last name right. I'm hearing a lot of talk about him. I hear he wants to be the guy to beat Mike Tyson's record as the youngest heavyweight champion. He's 19 years old, I believe 10 wins, I think 8 knockouts. He's a southpaw, didn't know that. And he's a no nonsense guy, and he takes the sport very seriously. He said he wants some serious fights. He wants to take on Joseph Parker. He said his management team is saying, it's getting harder and harder for us to get you fights. So he wants some big names. He said he has to be motivated to, lift weights and do all his running because he's kind of bored, I guess, with fighting guys he considers not to be big names in the division. So he's going to have to learn one thing. You have to keep yourself motivated. Great champions stay motivated to train no matter who they're fighting. Look at Floyd. This guy's fighting exhibitions, still training like he's fighting a ranked fighter. So you can't let your training depend on your opponents. You have to find it in yourself to train even if you don't have a fight coming up. Look at Derek Chisora. He didn't even have a fight coming up that he knew of, and he was staying in the gym just in case somebody called him in to fight or replace somebody. Great champions always train hard. You'd be hard pressed to find a champion that had longevity that didn't stay in the gym. So he's got to find it in himself to train, to do his best no matter what, no matter who he's fighting. You can't overlook anybody. Another interesting thing that he was asked, and shout out to the platform that interviewed him, I think it was ProBox. He was asked about sparring Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua, and he was asked, did he notice anything about Dubois? And he said he's got a great jab. That seems to be the consensus concerning Daniel Dubois, that he has a great jab. So it must be a really hard jab that Daniel Dubois possesses. But when he mentioned Anthony Joshua, he said it's a different kind of power. He said Dubois had a good chin, though. He said that. Maybe he hit Dubois with his best and Dubois stood there. But he said AJ has a different kind of power. And I've been telling you guys that Dubois has power, but it's more of an accumulation. I think he can turn it into a one-hitter quitter, but it's going to take some perfecting of his body position when he's throwing his punches. AJ's throwing up one-hitter quitters lately when everybody thought he was a puncher that had to accumulate shots to get a guy out of there. But I just thought that was interesting. I think this Moses Atama, I think he's the real deal, providing that he can take a punch. I want to see how he responds to getting hit by a big heavyweight. I saw he was listed as 6'2.5" or 6'3". He's not one of these real big heavyweights. He might grow into his man body later on, as they say, because he's only 19, so he's a good size. And as he puts on more muscle and starts to look more intimidating, I think he could do some damage. He sounds serious. I like his voice. He's got a deep voice. He sounds the part. Bit of a pretty boy. And that can still be intimidating, though, to people. AJ's a pretty boy, and he intimidates a lot of people. So I'm looking forward to watching his career. I don't think he'll get that fight with Joseph Parker. I don't really see those two ever crossing paths. But, maybe Itauma can fight someone like my dude Vlad Sarenko, who just signed Queensberry and Frank Warren. Maybe those two can mix it up on a card over there in Saudi Arabia. But what do you guys think about Moses Atama? Do you guys think he's the real deal? Do you think he'll be able to take a shot from one of the bigger heavyweights? I know he sparred with a lot of guys. And, I found something interesting that he said. He wants to fight the big names. He said when these guys are asked, do they want to fight him? They say, well, if the money's right. But he said when they ask these same guys about other opponents, they say, oh yeah, let's make it happen. So in other words, he's saying these guys are ducking him. He said when it's time to fight me, they want to talk about money. When it's time to fight other people, they don't care about money. So that's pretty smart of him. He's noticing that. that is a duck tactic. When people start talking about money when it's time to fight, they don't really want to mix it up. But I don't know if he'll be able to beat Mike Tyson's record as the youngest heavyweight champion, because he'll have to move along quickly and get one of these top guys. And there's a lot of belts out there now, a whole lot of belts. So we'll see what happens with him, but I think he will be a heavyweight to watch. And if he sparred with these top guys and held his own, then he should do all right, because I know sparring is headgear, but unless you're wearing that headgear with the big old football bar across the middle, your chin is still exposed to some degree. So like I said, let me know what you guys think of Moses Itauma, and if you think he's the real deal, and who do you think he should fight next. This is the J. Roos Theory. Make sure to comment, share, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. If you wish to donate to the platform, the Cash App is $JRoos33. Thanks to everybody that's donated so far. Appreciate you all. Go check out the live stream I did too. LSR forever, and be fearless. Yay.